We've got a new camera, so if you've got the bandwidth, click the gear icon in the corner of the video player, select your preferred quality, and enjoy the video in HD. I'm Tom Johnson, Thomas Johnson, Antique Furniture Restoration in Gorham, Maine. This is a nice old, what we call now blanket chest, just a storage cabinet chest. It's very old. Just judging by the hardware, I would say it's early 19th century, maybe even 18th century, it's hard to say. It's been stripped and refinished in the past. It has some great traces of what the old paint must have looked like. Greenish, grayish color that you frequently see on these old boxes. But the hardware is very old, it doesn't look like it's ever been replaced. But now, the only problem with it really is that it's got a very, very bad watermark in the top. So I've got to refinish the top and keep it looking old, maybe wax up the rest of this when I'm done to match. I want to strip this top, so the first step will be to tape off the whole case. And so I'm going to move this over, lean this top against another cabinet so I can get the plastic all up in here. I'm going to sand this top. I'm starting off with 100 grit paper. I'm just going to sand it by hand. I don't want to flatten it. I want to sand with 100 at first. I really want to open this up so I can apply oxalic acid to the top and see if it gets rid of this stain. Okay, I've sanded this top with 100. The big dark mark faded somewhat, but now I'll treat it with oxalic acid. Okay, I'm going to mix up some oxalic acid. I'm pretty casual about how much I measure. I'm going to put about 1/8 of a cup into a quart of hot water. I'm putting it on the spot that I want to get rid of first, but you really have to do the entire surface. You can't just do one area. I can see right away that some of the mark seems to be disappearing already, so that's a great sign. Well, the oxalic acid is just about dried, but the good news is that that big square black mark seems to be gone. So the next step now is I'm going to rinse off this top with a lot of clear water. I want to get the exhaust off. Okay, I've let this dry overnight, so now I'm going to sand it with 220 and then put the first coat of tung oil on it. Alright, I'll let that first coat dry overnight, and I've sanded with 320, and now I'll put a second coat on. Okay, the second coat looks good to me. I'm just going to leave it at 2 coats. I will steel wool and wax this, but before I do that, I'm going to clean the base with a little bit of a commercial cleaner and a rag. I'm going to just carefully clean this base because I'm going to wax it too. Okay, I'm just going to use dry 4/0 steel wool on the top to smooth it out, and then I'll wax it with some yellow wax. Alright, here we go. This is a nice antique chest, a sea chest, or now we call it a blanket chest. And there really wasn't much wrong with it, except that it had a really bad square black mark in the top here, probably from water. And even though I had to sand this top some, I'm real happy that the oxalic acid took the mark out and the top still has plenty of character. And then I finished it with tung oil and wax. I did touch-up work on the base and gave that my beeswax polish. I think it looks pretty good.